And that is why you should always use condoms. Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage and The Quiet Place has been out for weeks now. It's a giant hit, everybody has seen it, everybody on YouTube has reviewed it. So I'm super late and this will probably only interest very few people, but because I think A Quiet Place is one of this year's best films, I want to talk about it anyway. This is one of those very high concept movies because it's based on a very distinct idea. What if some weird monsters, probably aliens, have wiped out almost all of humanity, and in order to survive one has to be completely quiet, because otherwise they will hear you, come for you and kill you in an instant. A Quiet Place opens up with a beautiful, incredibly well directed sequence that brings us right into this menacing world. We see a family in an abandoned city, looting a supermarket. Everyone is barefoot. The children run through the aisles without making any noises. But then when they are on their way back home, the youngest son takes out a toy that he shouldn't have taken with him. And the silence that lasted for already like 5 to 10 minutes of screen time is suddenly broken. Now everything happens in slow motion. You can really feel the panic on screen with your whole body, and then it happens very quickly and the boy's just gone. Forever. And we skip about 1 year in time. This was a fantastic opening and the whole experience of watching A Quiet Place in a big cinema was wonderful. You could really feel how the whole audience was petrified. This is John Krasinski's third film as a director and he also plays the lead role alongside his real-life wife Emily Blunt. It's one of those ideas for a horror movie that deeply appeal to our inner child, I think. The concept of not making any sound. Maybe because you're playing a game of hide and seek, maybe because you just don't want to wake up your parents when you sneak to the fridge late at night. Other horror films like A Nightmare on Elm Street or Tremors have similar simple concepts. Don't fall asleep, don't touch the ground. To be quiet when a monster or a killer is chasing you is of course very common, and just 2 years ago Fede Alvarez made a fantastic horror thriller Don't Breathe, which I have to say I like even more than A Quiet Place. But pushing that idea to such an extreme is something I haven't seen before, and in its entire runtime of exactly 90 minutes, there are only very few spoken words. The tension is extreme and it's not just putting you at the edge of your seat, but it's also beautifully filmed and very well acted. Not just by Krasinski and Blunt, who of course have a great chemistry together, but also by the child actors, especially by Millicent Simmonds, who has been deaf since infancy. Her handicap plays a significant role in the story. It's also a great way to justify that the family was able to survive, knowing sign language. But there are also other aspects in the movie that felt far less justified and logical. I think it depends on what kind of moviegoer you are, and depending on the specific genre there are many things that one can ignore. But I guess because this has such a high production value and it feels very realistic, emotional and intimate, my suspension of disbelief was a little bit lower than it should have been. I don't want to get too nitpicky, but some things could have been handled better or be addressed in some way. Then there's the way the movie ends, which I don't want to spoil, but let me just say this. What they end up doing is something I guess must have been kind of obvious, or at least it must be something that somebody should have come up with a long time ago. There are also some tiny things happening in the last third, which is a damn intense finale, that were a little bit baffling and unrealistic, but that's okay. And when I say it's very tense, I honestly wished it would have been even more so. There are some moments that are so fantastic, but they should have been expanded in my opinion. When I left the cinema I saw that this was PG-13, and maybe that's the reason why I didn't go further. On the other hand, hey, it's cool that there's such a good horror film for a younger audience. And as a horror thriller, it works damn well. But I think there is also very little subtext to be found here. The idea the film is built upon is great, and there's a bit of family drama as well, but that's about it I guess. But that shouldn't stop you from checking it out on the big screen. In German I'd say, A Quiet Place ist ein ziemlich intensiver, spannender Horrorfilm mit einer simplen, aber effektiven Grundidee. Ich wünschte, er wäre noch etwas weiter gegangen und manche Entscheidungen waren etwas fragwürdig, aber insgesamt bietet er ein verdammt tolles Kinoerlebnis. I give A Quiet Place 8 out of 10. It's more like 7.7, but I don't do that. Alright, that's it like always. Comment below and let me know what you think about A Quiet Place. And also let me know what is your favorite horror movie from the last 10 years. My next review will be coming tomorrow and it will be a huge one. Because tomorrow I'm gonna see Infinity War. You can hit me up on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram simply at TheJimmyCage. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all I have to tell.